There's a chicken. What? Why is there a chicken? There's a chicken down here. Okay, chicken, you are like the bravest little chicken ever. Look at this guy. This Dude, this chicken. What is this chicken is like the coolest chicken ever. Okay. You know, I really need to name you because I think you're the original chicken. This is really not the time for this, and I don't even have a name tag. But if I find you again, we're doing this. Okay? What's up, everybody? It's Bo here. Before we get started today, we've got some promises to keep. There he is. Okay, good. Yes, the bravest little chicken ever. Oh, I love it. All right, so I've been thinking about this, trying to figure out what's a good name for our little chicken friend. I mean, we found him here in the tricky trials as we were going to get Mjolnir. I got to tell you, this little guy, I'm thinking your name is Loki. Yeah. I'm thinking this is a Loki variant. Maybe the Loki variant of Earth 4, right? Is a chicken down here in the tricky trials, the god of mischief, the god of tricks, right down here in chicken form. I can think of no better name to call this guy than that. Although I was thinking the bravest little chicken, but I wanted to give him a proper name, and I think Loki is I think it's a good name. So we're going to name you, buddy. We're going to name you, and we're going to bring you, we're going to bring you home. Okay, so this is probably not the most comfortable place for a Loki to be trapped here in the base of Avengers Tower, but don't you worry. We were going to definitely get that little Loki a throne at some point. I mean, after all, glorious purpose awaits every single Loki from everywhere across the multiverse, regardless of what the Avengers have to say about it. But that's not what today is about. Today, we are about picking up where we left off on the last video, and that is working on a brand new organization here for Earth 4 and for FANCRAFT. So I'm going to let you into a little behind the scenes here at FANCRAFT, going into Earth 4 in this season in particular. While I put no restrictions on anybody else per se, I did say that when it came to Central City and my videos in particular, I was going to have a very lore-free approach. Okay, we have had 4 seasons of the Craft series, Earth 1, Earth 2, Earth 3, and now, of course, Earth 4. And each have been special and significant and wonderful. And because with this series in particular, we were going to be tackling a lot of different franchises, it seemed like it was best just to let the builds speak for themselves. Or at least this was my mindset. And I think it was a good mindset going into the season. We've had some pretty epic ones that we have built all around in every single district, and it looks great and is still continuing to. But with this in mind, I had a kind of personal rule that we were not going to do lore in Central City, okay? Because if you've been watching for some time, you know that our lore can be a little convoluted. There's a lot of time travel shenanigans that have happened in previous seasons, and sometimes it gets a little wonky. This is why specifically when some Valenco sheep popped up, we had to move them out of Central City, which of course is a lore-free zone, and into this kind of pit right here, where it's outside of the city districts and kind of a space to quarantine the lore. Now, I still don't know where on earth those sheep came from, and that is a bit of a mystery in and of itself. So yeah, Central City has largely been a lore-free zone. Now, all of that said, Central City also has something very unique about it. And I'm not just talking about its various districts, but the various districts themselves have items attached to it that we call artifacts. I, as of last week, now am an artifact holder of Mjolnir, the artifact, of course, of the Marvel district. But every single district that we have here has an artifact attached to it. And so it begs the question, what exactly are these artifacts for? What do they do? Do they have any special purpose or reason behind them? If you've been tuning in since the beginning of the season, you know that perhaps this is something that we hoped to be revealed as the season went along, and I think it's time to start doing a little research and figure out what's going on here. But of course, this means that we need to have some sort of facility, some sort of research area to work on this, perhaps even a unique organization. And the question is, where do we put this? Because this is going to be something wholly original to Earth 4 and not part of, say, Nintendo or Tolkien or Harry Potter. This is going to have to be somewhere in Central City, but not exactly part of any of the existing districts. And thus we created a peninsula right here in what was kind of a lake at the center of Central City and is now a river kind of going around this added peninsula. And so what we're going to build today is going to be something very special. It will be here in Central City, but on its own and separate from the other districts, an embassy, if you will. In fact, we are creating the Legendary Object Research Embassy. That's right. I think this is great. I think this is the right approach. This way, this area will be great for researching these items, possibly even diving into some of their history and maybe even some of our personal history as it becomes relevant. And that way, we also maintain the rest of Central City as a completely lore-free zone. So as you can see, I've already laid out a few blocks here. I'm really looking forward to getting into it. Let's see if we can start laying the groundwork. And yeah, I think this is going to be great. All right, so good progress is being made. A lot of work to go, but I do feel like this is starting to, come together. So now, all right, I need to kind of call something out in case somebody actually recognizes this. This design is very much almost identical to a build I had on Earth 3. And there's a reason for that. I had actually developed this building design for Earth 3 for the Lotco building in Gotham City. However, I never really got to build it out to the full extent that I wanted it to. It was much smaller in Gotham compared to what we're building here, and I did nothing with the interior, whereas, yeah, I got a lot of plans for the interior here. So yeah, we're going to do it a lot bigger than what we did before and hopefully a lot better. But you can kind of see, I think, a little bit of where I'm going. Maybe not. You know what? Probably not. It's mostly just an outline and, of course, the front wall for scale. Now, there is going to be a holographic logo up there as well as in that whiteboard. That's where we're going to put the name of the office and everything else. But for the most part, I just wanted to really kind of get a sense for what it was going to look like from the snow globe. Because there is an element where, since it isn't connected with anything else, I want it to be kind of hidden away back here, tucked away behind these kind of bigger builds, right? So I don't think it's going to be too distracting. At least I hope it's not. But I suppose time will tell as we get a little bit further. One thing I do notice, though, is with it being very white and Mount Olympus being up there, I think we definitely need some more temples on Mount Olympus that don't have the traditional quartz look. I like it for the Temple of Athena up there, but perhaps maybe on the side a little bit to the left and kind of in that background where everything's starting to fade out. Maybe we could do like some cherry blossoms and put a Temple of Aphrodite over there. That is to say, if the God Box chooses us to build the Temple of Aphrodite, I don't know, but definitely some more color in whatever the future Mount Olympus build for us is going to be. But in the interim, I say let's see if we can get back to this thing and make some more progress. All right, and I think we've made some significant progress because the exterior is, well, mostly done. I mean, it definitely needs some final touches, and we're about to do that. But first, we got to show this off. Yeah, okay. In so many ways, this is exactly the build that I really wanted to build last season, and yet it is going to be so much more appropriate here. It's crazy. Now, it's got a little bit of an L shape, but that's probably going to change because I've been looking around this thing, and I do think this side of the building that's just very kind of corporate and a bunch of lines, I'm considering adding a balcony, possibly even a double balcony on this side, kind of a little bit higher up, just to give it something that's a little bit interesting and also for functional reasons as well, which I'll explain once we go inside. So we're definitely getting here, but this needs a final touch. A couple of little final touches and tweaks, not the least of which is, that big blank space right there. I mean, hey, if we're going to have the Legendary Objects Research Embassy, I mean, we're going to want to be able to make sure that everybody knows what it is this building is for, what it's about, and what it's here to do. And that is why I think we need to label it and make sure it's quite clear what this building is all about. Oh, yes. And I think with that, it is now quite clear what this office is all about. Yes, this is great. And as you can see, it is in fact done. Oh, man. Okay. All right. So where to begin? Now, admittedly, the logo is very basic. It's just an L up there, but I just needed kind of something to go there to replace what was going to be there before. And I think this works out very well. Now, I love the fact that we've got the multiple color of copper working in the actual wording up with obviously our acronym. Now, admittedly, I didn't have the dots, a room for the dots in between the letters, but I think everybody's going to know that stands for Legendary Object Research Embassy, right? I mean, that's clear. It's totally clear. Oh, speaking of totally clear, check out this bridge. So I wanted to kind of do something with kind of connecting the peninsula and going more direct into the office doors. And I wanted to give this combination of a little bit of old and ancient, but then also, something futuristic. And so I kind of went with this pseudo holographic or glass bridge right here with kind of the stone on either side being a very interesting and unique contrast. And then also I think it helps to give it a little bit more of an arch because I didn't need it to be too big. Obviously the peninsula is not that high up off the ground. And if I kind of arched this anymore, it would overshadow or rather overtake the door and you wouldn't really be able to see it. And it would feel kind of weird walking in. Honestly, even the way that it is right now, if not for the glass, it would kind of feel that way. So I think this really works great. And as we enter into the building, you can see that we have got some interior going right here. Oh man. Okay. So much to show off. I'm so excited for this. First of all, we've got ourselves a little dedication to the multiple Earths that we have been a part of since the Craft series began, all the way back to Earth 1, where we built Star Labs, Earth 2, where we built the Justice League, or rather the Hall of Justice, the Legion of Doom, Star Labs again, all kinds of stuff was on Earth 2. Then, of course, Earth 3 was our big Gotham City and Batman-inspired builds, and now here we are at Earth 4 with the FANCRAFT series, and looking very fine indeed. Now, on the other side of the room, we've got this awesome supercomputer, which will definitely come in handy as we're doing the research, and as we'll need to kind of, access some things, perhaps from our archives and perhaps from the various Earths and histories of what has come before. I think that, having some sort of supercomputing device is going to be very necessary, but it's not the only thing we've got. We've got some research labs up top, but down here we also have a dedication to the various artifacts. Don't forget, this is all about the artifacts, finding the artifacts of Earth 4 and figuring out what their purpose is and what they are all about. Now, the goal here is to kind of keep up with the known artifacts that we have. We have the One Ring, which is currently held by Knight. We've got the Dark Saber, which of course is currently held by Fox. We've got Mjolnir. Now, these are replicas. This is actually the real deal. Okay, because this is held by me. So for the moment, I went ahead and put it up here in the lab, but we'll probably keep this on our person more often than not. Then, of course, for Pirate Cove, we've got the remains of Blackbeard, which of course is held by Will. We also have the One-Up Mushroom from the Nintendo District, which is held by Dr. Alien. And then we've got our two new districts, which we don't actually know the artifacts for yet. We've got Mount Olympus and the Harry Potter District. And honestly, we got to leave room for one more because you never know. You know what I mean? Like, we've got the districts we've got now, but that doesn't mean that this is it. You gotta always kind of leave room for what you don't know. So that's great. This is good. But okay, all right. So this is kind of like, a little bit of our foyer, or kind of like just a showcasing of the various artifacts and kind of a means of keeping up with that. I'll have kind of an area to put some notes about these things in the future, but yeah, that's what we got right there. Nice little way too. We've got this little kind of garden area out on the back patio, or I guess this is actually the side patio. I haven't figured out what I want to do with this yet, so it just kind of is nothing for the moment, but yes. Let's head inside again, and as you'll see, we've got multiple floors. Now, before I actually go up the stairs, let me just talk about why I really love this design. It's so flexible, and we can add rooms and floors as we go around and as we go along. I think it's really, really great. For the moment, it's got everything we need. I mean, arguably, it's got more than what we need, but we're going to be able to do much more in the future should we choose to. Okay, so that was floor 1. We've got the different artifacts showcased right there. Floor 2, we've got a little meeting space, because we will probably need to be calling in some of the other fan crafters as we are trying to do this research and figure out what people know. And so this is kind of a nice little boardroom, team meeting, that sort of deal. Now, up on the 3rd floor, this is where the research is happening, okay? This is where we've got kind of like a little bit of a monitor right here. We've got a place to enter in different items. And then, of course, artifacts as we find them. And then, we'll be safe behind this very extensive protection that we've got right here. I think, look, it's gonna be great. We got everything we need. So this is kind of our testing area here on the 3rd floor. And then on the 4th floor, this is a little bit more of a office space for someone. Now, I don't know who, okay, because my office is actually on the top floor, and I'll show the case that in a second. But I thought at some point we probably would want to bring somebody in and give them kind of an official role or official title of some sort. And so, yes, I don't know if this is like, a director or a vice president of sorts, or, a representative. I don't know yet, but thought we needed a good office space for somebody to take on kind of a cool role like that, and this seemed to make a lot of sense. And on the other side is a little bit of kind of a common area meeting space. Maybe this person needs to meet with somebody and they need to wait out here or something like that. This kind of gives a nice little, upstairs lobby. You can kind of look down into kind of the main lobby area as well. I think it's really, really cool looking and beautifully decorated, if I do say so myself. Now, we do have a little storage area right here, because obviously we're going to have a lot of files that we're going to be needing to do, and you never know. We got top men looking at different things and that sort of deal, and so we need kind of a place to store our items as we find them, and that's exactly what this is all about. Now, there is a little bit of a deck right here that does kind of give you a nice little view. Technically, it gives you a view right into my base, but as the Time Temple is built out, a long overdue project, I might add, as that gets built out, as the Mount Olympus gets built out, we got a nice view of that. As things start poking through over on the Harry Potter district, we'll be able to see that. I think this is kind of nice, and it also adds for a nice way to take off, too. If you're up on some of the top floors and you need to kind of get out quick, this is a good way to do it. Now, there is also an executive elevator as well. Should this person need to meet with me quickly, they can reach me by going up the elevator and enter into kind of the executive suite. And this right here is looking nice as well. Not nearly as nicely decorated as, the bottom floor, I might mention. So whoever ends up, working here is probably going to end up having a little bit of a nicer setup than I do. But regardless, we got a lot of space. We've got kind of a waiting area, kind of a comfortable area with different chairs over there, kind of a couch over there, bookshelf, kind of some different items, maybe collectibles that we've got as we've kind of done our own exploration of this world and the unique treasures and secrets and mysteries that it has. Then we enter into my office, and as you can see, I'm looking right at home. This is really great. Now, I did not know it was going to be storming. Well, I was recording this, but it is. Actually, you know what? Let's just kind of deal with that real quick. Oh, yeah, that clears up really nicely. So I love this. This is an awesome view. It gives such a great panoramic view of the varying districts around us, while also being such a tucked away office building in and of itself. I mean, yes, it does poke out a little bit, but it's not overly distracting. It's a little basic and bland given the fact that it is just kind of white and glass and that sort of thing. And so it allows for you to be able to really take in everything around you without taking up much of the attention in and of itself. This building, I'm so proud of it. Ironically, this might be one of my proudest achievements in a season that has contained some pretty amazing achievements in and of itself. So, I love it. This is great. Sometimes it's the subtlety, you know what I mean? Okay, so let's see. That's the executive elevator going up. Let's take it going down. Yep. And of course, here in the lobby in the front floor, the executive elevator takes you right here. So this is really nice as well. But now that we have this, now that we actually have this space, I think it's time to do a little research, because I, for one, am very curious as to what artifacts we need to be on the lookout for these two new districts. Harry Potter in particular. That might be a good place to start. Now, over at the Snow Globe, we have been using a little bit of a Welcome to Central City board, kind of explaining the districts and also labeling their purpose. So obviously we've got our commerce districts, PvP, we've got a gaming district, and then we've got kind of the Olympus. Mount Olympus is not really specified, but for all intents and purposes, it's almost like a bit of a museum district, or, kind of like an arts district, if you will. And then we've got, of course, the new Commerce District in Harry Potter. And all of these districts are represented by ores. So my thought is, maybe if we find some iron ore from the Harry Potter district, we could do a little research and see what we can find that might kind of help us understand what we should be on the lookout for. This is my theory, and I think it's a good one. So off we go to the Harry Potter district. Oh, and actually, this is perfect, because I don't think I've ever actually showcased this. So as you know, Doc has made the Leaky Cauldron, and my goodness, I'm still just kind of blown away by that sign. But anyway, yes, he's made the Leaky Cauldron, and this is like the premium way to get into the Harry Potter district, because if you just go and look around and take a little step through, is it here? I think it's here. Hang on. Ah, yes. Okay. If you go through the painting, then you've got a little bit of a secret passageway that takes you right into the Harry Potter district, which is pretty amazing. That's pretty sweet. This whole area needs a little terraforming once we've got kind of the buildings built up, or maybe it doesn't, depending on what buildings kind of come into place. But like, I love that entryway. I think that is so cool. Now, fortunately, here in the Harry Potter district, it comes to a chasm, which will, I think, eventually be covered up by Hogwarts when this is all said and done. But it's just a matter of going and finding ourselves a little bit of, oh my goodness, iron, which is generally plentiful. Hello. Yes. Now the real question is, I guess I could just kind of use the ore, right? Yeah. Let's use the ore. That's that raw iron. There you go. That's what we want. You know that feeling whenever you've got like a new build and like you just see it. You kind of forget it's there because you get so used to your world, but then you see that new build and you're like, oh, that looks good. Honestly, I feel the same way about the Athena temple too, but this is the new hotness. So this is getting all my love and attention. All right, we are good. Let's see. Input required. We enter in, boom, iron. And do we have like a lever? That's a lever. Okay. Yep. Good. Yeah, okay. We're scanning. We're doing something, seems like. And, okay. Yes. All right. Artifact identified. The Elder Wand. Huh. Okay, now I'm not a Harry Potter guru. Okay, so admittedly, I don't really know a whole lot about Harry Potter, but I'm assuming this is some kind of wand since, it's in the name. Awesome. Okay, good deal. So we as crafters should be on the lookout for the Elder Wand. Fantastic. Okay, once we know who gets that and how they get it and all that kind of good stuff, we'll be able to add it to our little Hall of Artifacts. Ooh, our Hall of Artifacts. I should put that somewhere. Okay, Mount Olympus. This works surprisingly well. All right, this actually works surprisingly well. Let's see if we can go and what is Olympus? Lapis. Okay, let's go find us some lapis on Mount Olympus. And you know what? While we're here, ooh, new temple in the sky. That's interesting. While we're here, this is actually a great opportunity to showcase the Temple of Athena because this is done and looking fantastic. It's very simple. Oh, I say it's done. Look, we've got a hole. We got a patch. We ran out of bookshelves, so we need to patch up that hole. But for the most part, it's done. As you can see, it's kind of like a little library down here, which is pretty cool. I've got kind of like a little torch burning and that sort of thing. And okay, so this was kind of supposed to be a big feature of this temple, and it ended up being a little lackluster. And that is that on the wall, and I don't even know if it'll be able to showcase given the frame rates here, but on the wall, there is actually an owl. There is a pattern of an owl that you can see on both sides of the wall. The problem is you really can't see it when you're far away. Like you can't see it at all when you're far away. And even when you're up close, it's very subtle. I kind of like the subtlety of it up close, but I'm very disappointed that it doesn't show up at all from the outside. So that's a little bit of a disappointment about this build, but overall, I really think it turned out great. I wanted to kind of more subtly showcase the Athena, symbols and that sort of thing. I mean, obviously wisdom, so we've got the books and the library aspect of things. I've got the olive tree, which is growing out to the side, and then, of course, the owl, which is, oh man, I had such high hopes, but it's okay. Okay, what are we doing? Oh, yes, lapis. We need to find ourselves some lapis. Ah! Oh, yep, there we go. Okay. Oh, wow. Okay, that was way more than I thought we'd find. We just needed one. But see, this is great. This is great. This is exactly why we have storage. We take what we don't need, and we keep what we do need, and then we just leave the rest. There. Boom. Yes. It's professional, is what it is. Okay, so let's put this in the machine. This actually needs to go into storage. And Okay. Oh, well, okay. There you go. The Trident of Poseidon. So the Trident of Poseidon. I wonder who's got Poseidon? Ah, Will. Okay. Interesting. One imagines Will's Poseidon build or Temple of Poseidon might be something to look for. There might be a little something we want to, just got to keep an eye out for there. Hey, since I'm actually over here right now, since I do need to get another deity, I wonder what'll be my next deity that I need to get. Hermes. Oh, awesome. Okay, sweet. That's excellent. Well, now that my Temple of Athena is done, then I know that Hermes is going to be the next one for me to build. So that's kind of a fun thing right there. But today really has been all about this right here, establishing the new office better known as the Legendary Object Research Embassy. I've forgotten the word embassy so many times while recording this video, by the way. It's crazy. Like, you're going to notice there's going to be so many like weird cuts before I say embassy, and it's because I keep on forgetting that word. But yes, Legendary Object Research Embassy. There it is. It's awesome. It's incredible. And it's going to create a lot of fun for us. Now, don't get me wrong. We've got some other great builds, not to mention the Temple of Hermes. We'll have to think through what that looks like. I'm thinking kind of a racetrack actually going all around Mount Olympus could be awesome. So that's going to be epic. Yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun. I've been thinking through some new builds too in the Nintendo district, especially with that new Metroid game coming out. It has really got kind of my brain firing on some different ideas that could be kind of hovering over here. And I would love your advice as to what you think would be really good to add to the Harry Potter district. It's not as much my fandom as other things, and so I need your advice as to what we should look into and what we should build. The candle shop I think turned out really, really great. It's already had some sales, which is awesome, and I'm looking forward to kind of thinking through some other big builds that work in this area as well. So yes, be sure to put in the comments, what would you like to see us add to these wonderful districts? Let's get creative. Let's keep having fun. Earth 4 continues just to be a blast, and I'm looking forward to seeing what the future holds, especially now, especially now that we can research more into what these artifacts truly mean for us, whilst keeping Central City exclusively lore-free. Because that's what we're all about here on Earth 4, is keeping things lore-free. All right, that's going to do it for me for today. Talk to you next time. Goodbye.